Ani, welcome everyone. Before I start, I would like to call upon Sandra Moore to offer us an opening prayer.
Bonjour. Makakwe benonji indigenous cause wabshashi ndodem manomaniki ndunchpa. Creator, thank you for this day, for the opportunity that we have to come together and remember our members who went away to residential school, but in some cases, they joined other kids in the abuses and the harm, and so it's good for us to remember them today. And Creator, you've given us this opportunity, and we're thankful. We're thankful for the sacred items, Creator, that you've brought to us and that you've allowed us to have in our community and that we've worked toward. And so we say Chimigwech for all of those. And for the people in the community who struggle, Creator, I pray for them, and I ask you to be with them and wrap your love around them and help to make them comfortable. For all of the good things that you give us, Creator, we say Chimigwech.
Miigwech, Sam. Jill has gone around and smudged, or she's doing it now. So, are we finished, Jill? Yeah. Okay. Ish. Okay. With our offerings, we offered everyone a tobacco tie. If you didn't get one, we do have some more over here. And what we're asking is, we put our prayers into the tobacco. We also use tobacco to give thanks, or when we need a request, if we're asking somebody for something. And this is like our contract, and we ask them, and we don't give them the tie until they have accepted to agree that they would do that. So then we can give them tobacco, and that's like our contract. But also when we pray with tobacco, and you can keep it, or we can put it in the fire. And our teachings tell us that the smoke from the tobacco carries our prayers to Creator. So for those who don't know that, I know I was asked as we were going around, so I just wanted to share that with everyone, that this tobacco carries those prayers to Creator for us. And before, so at any point, please feel free. You can sit down on the picnic tables there or over there, but please feel free to put your tobacco in the fire that we have going over here. Larry has offered to do fire keeping for us, so we do have that sacred fire for you to put this in. And I didn't really prepare anything for today. There's just some days where your typical speech isn't appropriate. Or days like today come from the heart and from the moment that you're in. And as we continue to learn about residential school, colonization, and everything that came with that, and when I say it like that, it's because there is so much. There's so much that we could say. There is so much that we could talk about. And we've done that when they recovered the children last year. That's when we heard from the survivors, but it was when the general Canadian population had learned about that, and that's where we gained our support from many, many non-Indigenous people, and for that we're grateful and thankful. Because we know that we need that supporters to support us as we go to the government and continue to make them be accountable to what we're doing. And we're just a minimal way there. We have a long way to go to make government accountable to what's happening. And so that's work that comes together. And the other day we were in training, and we heard a young man who had grown up in the child welfare system. And what he said was very profound for me, and I will share that. He said, "It's not truth and reconciliation." He said, "It's truth." because reconciling means you had a relationship to begin with when you look in the dictionary, and we did not have that relationship with the government. And so those words were profound, and I will continue saying those words. And the young man's name was Jama, and a very wise young man for his age. And to continue, and he also stated that he'd like to see this day one day be like a remembrance day, where every Canadian will take that minute to honor, like we honor all our veterans, our well-deserved veterans who deserve that honor. So do our little people. And so I will keep saying that on his behalf too, or with him as he says it. I will help him share that word, share that message. So I would, in saying that, I will, before we unveil the plaque, I'll have a few more words to say. And but right now, I would like to call upon MP Phillips, who we've asked to say a few words for us.
Miigwech, and thank you very much. It's always an honor and privilege to be an MP on days such as this, and truly moved by your remarks there, Chief Carr, with respect to truth. And I hope to, as a federal representative, to be an advocate and to help get that truth out to our community. Because if there's no truth, there's no foundation for any future relationship. And of course, we want that future relationship to go forward so that we can have that truth, we can have that foundation, that future together. So thank you very much on behalf of the federal government and on behalf of myself. I'm certainly going to do everything I can in Ottawa and elsewhere to advocate for the rights of First Nations peoples everywhere, and particularly in Hiawatha and Alderville. Miigwech, and thank you.
Miigwech, MP Phillips. Next, I'd like to call upon Mayor Taylor.
Anin, everyone. I'd first of all like to say miigwech to Chief Carr, Council, and Hiawatha First Nations for inviting us here today. I'm joined by my wife Karen. I'm joined by Deputy Mayor Bonnie Clark and Ivan, and Councillor Ken Howie and Roxanne. And it is not just a privilege, it's an honor to be here today. This is Truth and Reconciliation Day. It's a day where we must stop and show recognition and respect to those who survived residential schools, and honor and remember those who did not. We talked about truth. And oddly enough, Chief Carr, about an hour ago, I opened up the Webster's Dictionary that we have at home, and I looked up the word reconciliation because I thought, what does that really mean? And as I read Webster's interpretation of it, I also thought it doesn't really apply. However, truth applies. I'm reminded of a movie. Some of you may have seen it. It was back in the 1980s. It had a line in it in this movie that stuck with me then, and it stuck with me ever since, and I think it's fitting for why we are here today. The movie was called A Few Good Men, and I'll just set the table with it for you. It starred Tom Cruise as a military lawyer, and it starred Jack Nicholson as a crusty old military commander in this base. And there were some wrongs, there were some illegal activities committed on this base. And there was a courtroom setting, there was a trial. And Tom Cruise, much to the chagrin of Jack Nicholson, called him to the stage. Jack Nicholson, as a commanding officer, felt he was above that. And Tom Cruise was grilling him. And Jack Nicholson kept giving him that steely stare that he was well known for, and he gravelly voice, and he wasn't very friendly in his response. Finally, Jack Nicholson hit a breaking point, and he said to Tom Cruise, he says, "What do you want?" And Tom Nicholson looked at him very coolly and said, "I want the truth." Jack Nicholson shot back, "You can't handle the truth." And that line stuck with me, and I think it's very fitting for why you're here today. I think it's critical that the federal government, the provincial government, the municipal governments, and the churches be forced to accept and handle the truth. Now, this sad legacy of residential schools has affected pretty much every First Nation family in Canada, directly or indirectly. These families are here today. They are our neighbors, they are our friends. It would be wrong, it would be disrespectful for me to stand up here and say, "I know how you feel. I feel your pain." I can't possibly know how you feel, but I know that you feel pain. I see it in your eyes. How could you not? And I want you to know, as your friend and your neighbor, we will help. We will help in any way we can, if we can. Now, sometimes that help means not saying anything. Sometimes it means just a touch on the shoulder to let you know that we're here, we care, and we will help if you let us know how we can do that. And I want that to be the message that I leave with you today. We know you're hurting. We don't pretend to feel your pain and know how you feel. But we know you're hurting, and we want to help if we can. Thank you.
Miigwech, Mayor Taylor. As we move towards the unveiling of the commemorative plaque, I want to say some thank yous first. First of all, Miigwech to Sam for the opening prayer, and to our drum for being here, our men who are always here for us to support us and play those songs and let us hear that heartbeat of Mother Earth that grounds us. I also want to say thank you to all of you for being here today. And I know that the majority of you know our story. We don't need to say that. And for those who are learning, please feel free to come and ask. We're okay to share. We're good to share because we want the truth out there. And we would like to do that always in a good way. And we ask that to remember this day, September 30th, at any way that you can, whether it's a moment of silence, whether it's a prayer, whether it's coming to an event like this, whether it's reading a book. There's things you can do throughout the year to continue to learn not just about residential schools, but our entire history with Canada, with our starting with that first contact, starting with the treaties, starting with, and I think part of that too is perhaps talking to an elder or a person who knows of the treaties and not just reading it in a book, because our oral interpretation is much different than what the government wrote in those treaties. And so as we move forward, what we are excited here to do in Hiawatha today is honor our young people who went to residential schools. And as I had noted in our training earlier, and it seems so simple to say, but if you think about it, if you sit with it, we are the children of our ancestors, and we're here, and we're strong, and we're proud, and we're learning, and we're growing, and it's everything that they wanted for us, and we're picking that path up where they couldn't, where they were told to stop, where they were disciplined to stop being who they were, and here we are, being able to do that and walk in their path. And so from this last year, actually, forward, and previously, back in the 2007, 8s, 9s, when they were first starting to work on some sort of reconciliation, I remember going to a couple of churches, and I remember speaking with one of our citizens who's since passed, Ron Howard Baugh, and asking him, if that was okay, because it's not my story. And anyway, I did share his poem, and again today I asked if that was okay to share his poem, and it's something that I think I would like to share at every event we have from last year, today, and on forward. And after the reading, we will unveil the plaque, and we will call upon Sandra Moore, Ron Howard, and Madden Copaway. So, tears I never cried. Life seems to go by, I wonder a lot why. In my heart is a black hole, I wonder why. With tears I never cried. I remember the last I saw my dad. The train leaves, too young to know why. He rushes away, tears in his eyes. I wonder why Dad cries. Alone we are, my brother and I, on a train going north, we don't know why. Too young are we, only 5 and 6, told to wait, and we wonder why. With tears we never cried. A long journey, a little drink and food, scared, frightened, too young to know why. Then we are there where I know not, just with tears I never cried. Too afraid to cry, life for me changes, separated now from all I have known, even my big brother. I am all alone in a place I do not know, with tears I never cried. Hungry, beaten, work like a slave, scared I'm only 5. For 9 years I never did cry, I only wonder why. Why? As I see other little children like me die, left me with tears I never cried. My gran and uncle finally came to take us home, scared and hungry still from that place. I know not what hugs and kisses meant. Alas, at home no mom or dad, just tears. I know now I can cry, thanks to gran and uncle. Ronald E. Howard, CD. So, Chimigwech to Ron, one of our citizens, and his brother Bill, who were our last 2 students, 2 young people to go to residential school. And lucky for us, as that may sound, that we got to know of their experience, we got to hear their truth, and we got to watch Ron go through his healing journey. And for that, we're all grateful. We're grateful for our culture to help us through that. And I know today, as with all our ancestors, they would be grateful to see where we are. They would be honored to see the path that we're on, and that we're still learning and we're growing, and we'll get there. We'll get to our vision statement, and we'll get to that Manoba Mazuin, that good life that Creator had intended for us, and that good life that Creator had intended for our little children, for our young ones who are coming up to never know these type of experiences. So I say Chimigwech to Ron and all our students, all our young people who went to residential school. And as we welcome up Sam and Madden and Ron, I would like to read off our list of our citizens who went to residential school. Beginning in 1884, Eveline Anderson and Willie Anderson. And to this day, I believe, we don't know that, and I'm looking at Cheryl, she's our history buff. It was Eveline that we don't know if she came home or not. Yes. And she was 12, so we don't know if she made it home from residential school. There's no history after that. Robert Potash, Andrew Potash, Carolyn Anderson, Hannah Lynn Howard, Isabella Howard, William Newton, Edward Leslie Nagon, William Howard, Ron Howard Sr. And today we acknowledge the feelings and come from a place of love and warmth and support at this honor, at this moment, to honor our little ones and families and survivors. Can we unveil the plaque in honor of those citizens? Miigwech. We invite everyone to come and take a look after and to honor, and miigwech Madden for your good work, and Ron and Sam. So each of us, we can take a moment and put our prayers in there for those citizens and for our present and our future. And what a perfect way to end off with an honor song for those young people that were on the plaque, for you today, and for all of us and all that we do on this day, and all those across Canada and the United States, all our brothers and sisters who went to residential schools, their families, their communities, and their nations. Michisagi Minoman, please. Miigwech, Michisagi Minomen. Thank you for always being there, for honoring, having those honor songs and ending us in that good space. Before we head into the gathering place, I do have one more thank you, and I saved this, two more thank yous actually. Your dinner is being catered by Lisa Johnson, and so I'm sure it will be an amazing meal. And please enjoy dinner and gathering with friends and having good conversation and just enjoying your time together. The last thank you is I want to say a huge chimigwach to Jill Stevens. Jill has organized this event. She planned it. She prepared for it. She put a lot of work into having today. And for her, we are very grateful for her and for the work that she does for Hiawatha. And miigwech, Jill, this is awesome. And to the committee and those helpers, the volunteers that helped her. Chi-miigwech. There will be no speeches inside. We'll be having raffle prizes, but we do, once again, before you head inside, come take a look at our beautiful plaque, our dedication to those citizens, and feel free to put your tobacco in the fire. Miigwech. Thank you.
It wasn't because I was